Welcome to So Many Receipts. I'm Shelley Seddon.
And I'm Fleur Michelle.
And we're two entertainment journos based in Sydney, Australia who love to analyse and talk about all things reality TV and pop culture.
In Deep Dive, we go all in on stuff we're dying to know about, plus chats you won't want to miss. Today, I'm talking to Sophie Hood, founder and CEO of Seoul Tonic, who produce premium Korean Pear hangover drinks and functional wellness tonics. You can visit them at www.soultonic.com. Sophie was also the winner of Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars 2024 on 9, the hunt for Australia's most exciting and innovating new food ideas. I'm going to be talking to Sophie about hangovers, Gordon, winning the show, and more. Sophie, welcome to So Many Receipts.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Albeit being on the other side of the world makes it even more exciting.
There might be a slight delay sometimes, perhaps maybe a bit of dropping out. We're going to cross our fingers that doesn't happen, because Sophie is actually in New York. Like, you're from Sydney originally, but you're now in New York, right, to kind of get the whole venture going over there?
Yeah, so born and bred Sydney, relocated to New York 2 months ago, and then randomly on a weekend in Boston because my boyfriend decided that he's always wanted to go to Boston. Didn't really have much choice in the matter. So yeah, now I'm on a random balcony in Boston Sunday night, overlooking the city. It's pretty nice. It's a good city.
Okay, well, we might talk about New York a little bit in. But first up, you started Soul Tonic just under 3 years ago when you were just 27, right? I mean, how did the idea for Soul Tonic come? How did it came about? But that doesn't make sense. I'm going to start that sentence. How did it all come about?
Well, yeah, you're right. I was 27. I was working a full-time job at Red Bull, always in commercial finance and strategy roles. Mm-hmm. And when COVID hit, everything fun about my Red Bull job kind of disintegrated. So I turned my attention elsewhere. And what started at being quite obsessed with Korean skincare actually led to understanding more around East Asian culture. And it was because I understood the ingredients in Korean skincare that made me quite interested in the ingredients generally that East Asian people were, consuming. And one thing led to another. And I realized that there's this, billion-dollar functional beverage category led with these various recovery beverages, hangover drinks. And I could barely find anything in the Western world, barely anything in Australia. And I decided to fly to Seoul and partner with a Korean man and create my own. And that's kind of the origin story. And obviously there's a lot more that has happened since then.
Yeah, so tell us, how does Korean pear juice work to reduce a hangover, and what's the feedback been like?
Okay, so Korean pear has been clinically studied to have an ingredient called DHM in it. And DHM reduces down the toxin you build up when you drink alcohol. And the toxin you build up is called acetaldehyde. So everyone's liver is different. So everyone builds up this toxin at a different rate or level. But the whole, premise is around prevention. So what I noticed was that us in Australia, we don't do anything preventatively before we drink. Whereas culturally in Asia, they will always drink something to just support their liver on that process. So that's what it is. It's not like a cure, the be all or end all, but it's a prevention. It's like when you eat an orange for vitamin C when you're sick, that it has vitamin in it. But this actually, our formula is really potent in the sense that we use a patented extraction method and extract all the nutrients of the pear from the skin. So we have 2 whole Korean pears in every pouch and Asian ginseng, which is another super powerful ingredient. So our formula actually doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. It's not the same as just a normal Korean pear juice. It's very much a hyper concentrated extract. But the methodology and the science has been around for centuries and has been used for centuries in Korea.
Yeah, amazing. I actually used to be the PR manager for the Naturally Good Expo here in Australia, where they always feature a lot of natural, low alcohol and no alcohol beverages known as no lows. So I know how massive this space is becoming in Australia, and I have tried a lot of them myself. Why do you think people are suddenly so into these drinks, these functional drinks?
I think there are a few macro trends going on that we just can't ignore. And I think a lot of them are being driven by actually the Gen Zs, and it's kind of filtering back. Um, there's this big sober curious movement, right? I call it the moderation movement. People are drinking less, but at the same time, they're caring about what they're putting in their body. So they're becoming hyper fixated on ingredients. What is the makeup of this beverage? Does it have artificial sugars in it? How do they react to my body? If I am going to drink, what am I going to do around the drinking occasions that's going to support me? They're trading up as well. So instead of drinking like 10 average drinks, you might drink 4 more expensive drinks. And coming from also a liquor background, I've been seeing this trend happen for a while, plus being in the industry. I'm seeing it all through retail, e-com, but then just through like anecdotal research of like my sisters, my friends, my parents. And so I think with all of these like macro trends combined, people are just more fixated on being healthier and living longer, and all the kind of subsidiary drinks that sit around that are being uplifted and becoming more interesting.
Yeah, you're so right. When I was back involved with it, it was all about Gen Z, and it was driving a lot of the interest in the space and so forth. And it was interesting to read about that and find out all about it. And it's great actually that younger people are becoming so health conscious and are, looking after their health a lot more, and that they're curious. They've got the curiosity, maybe unlike some of the older demos, perhaps. So that's interesting to know. Actually, what was your worst hangover ever? I mean, it was a kind of driven a bit by a personal experience as well. I can tell you about
That's so
some of
funny you
mine.
say. I have some absolute shockers, right? Like I do. I would say that the business was more driven by an interest in like holistic wellness versus a bad hangover story. But that being said, I worked at Moet Hennessy. I'm a full champagne snob,
Mm.
and my parents drink a shitload. So
Right.
I'm definitely not pretending like I'm some wellness guru and blah blah blah. Like I like a drink and I really enjoy a good quality glass of alcohol.
Yeah.
But my worst hangover story I still remember was schoolies in the Gold
Oh,
Coast, Surf Paradise. And it wasn't actually a single story. It was a week of just obliterating my body. But
right.
the reason why it's so memorable is because after I got home, my mum picked me up from the airport and I was so sick that I had to be taken straight to the emergency room and put on a drip. So I went,
Oh,
so the whole week was just so intense that, yeah, and this was years ago. So this was 12 years ago before people just like casually went onto drips for rehydration, which
yeah.
is now a thing. But back then, being put on a drip was like a huge deal, especially at 18. And I
Mm.
just remember there was a few like specific nights, and I had a fake ID that I remember just losing it at the club. And then, but it's really that memory of being on the drip at the hospital that still is like scarred in my mind. And,
Right.
I don't want to ever get to the point where I have to go to the hospital
Yeah.
just to deal with my hangover.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness. So for me, um, there's been a few, but the one I can remember is I was probably in my 30s and I went out with some friends and I was staying over at a friend's house overnight as well. And we had gone out and it was a really big night, restaurants, bars, all that kind of thing. And I had drunk a lot of red wine. And I'd always been fine with it, but oh my goodness, this gave me the worst cracking headache of my life. And I woke
Red
up.
wine's the worst.
It is the worst. And I woke up probably, I don't know, 4 o'clock or whatever. And I thought, I really need to drink some water. But I was so tired that I just couldn't be bothered getting up. And yet I had such a bad headache. And it was just a terror. And I kept thinking, if I just sleep it off, think of calm blue ocean or something like that. It was a shocker. I still remember that. I was on her couch. It was awful. Mm,
Oh my God. Yeah,
yeah.
it's all I think the red wine
It's
like
the tannins, right? Is
deep.
that what it
Oh,
is in red
it's
wine?
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, or histamines or something like that.
It's
Mm.
very high in histamines,
Yeah,
which
and
some people don't deal well with.
no, I've always been scared of it ever since, and now I just get drunk on white wine, and which are not as bad for my hangovers, but I do sometimes feel, groggy or a bit yeah, sometimes a little bit headachy the next day. And I did actually try Soul Tonic. I've tried it a few times now because your lovely manager guy here, Johnny, delivered them to my door. Thank you very much, Johnny. And it actually did make me feel I felt very clear-headed the next day. I just felt clear-headed. I didn't have the fuzziness and I didn't have the fog. And I have tried a few hangover tonics before, but this actually just made me feel just quite well. I can't really explain it. Is that the feedback you get, or what kind of feedback do you get from people after they've had it?
That's generally the feedback. I think where it really helps is it just takes the edge off some of those bad hangover symptoms, but
Yeah.
also it contains a huge amount of natural potassium, and it's
Mm.
incredibly amazing for hydration, the blend that we have.
Yeah.
So we find that for people who also aren't rehydrating with water, it also sets them up and makes them feel just a little bit more hydrated and cleaner,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well as
Yeah.
helping the liver. And also it's only in a 100 ml drink, making it a lot easier to digest if
Mm.
there's an ingredient that doesn't work with you, or some other hangover drinks are in bigger formats, so
Yeah.
sometimes it's a little bit harder. But
Yeah.
obviously, like as we said, everyone's different. So we've had exceptional feedback. We have people who just will not drink without it, right? Like we have this
Mm.
insane loyalty. But then on the other side, if you go out and absolutely have a bender and don't sleep till 7 a.m., we also get blamed for that. And that shouldn't be our problem. So I think, it's within reason. It's always really hard being in this like hangover space because everybody is so different. But I just say it's all about prevention.
Yeah, and I think, we're talking about young people have embraced it. But I think it's good for older people like myself as well, because the older you get, like the more harder it is to deal with stuff, like health wise or your
Yeah.
body processing. So it's actually quite a it's quite a good thing to try. I would recommend everybody of all ages actually try it. I've been really impressed with the product. Now onto your TV debut. What was your
Mm.
experience like on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars? Was it grueling?
I think I was so naive going into it, and obviously going into it not having any media training, any media experience. Like, I was still working full time at Red Bull. I'd only launched Soul Tonic for 2 months. So it'd only been in market for 8 weeks, and I took annual leave from Red Bull. So I think I was so ignorant and naive that I was just learning things as I went.
Yeah, but was it overall, I mean, was it worth it? Like the experience I'm talking about.
The experience was worth it because I won the money,
Mm.
and I won the mentorship.
Yeah.
So that allowed me to quit my full-time job, and
Mhm.
that's allowed me to essentially be able to do the business with no investment externally and now be in New York. So I can't say that it wasn't life-changing, because it
Yeah.
was, but it was also very, very challenging.
Yeah, it sounds eye-opening. And I've interviewed Gordon before, and I did find him a little intimidating. How did you find him?
I love Gordon. I
Hmm.
got along with him really well. I think that he's an actor. Like, he's a big caricature, and he puts on his personality and his thing when the cameras are on, but he is like a teddy bear. Like, he's lovely. Like, he's such a family man. He's so caring. I found that he was savage, but kind of for good reason often. And
Mm.
this was all in a business sense. This was less around him being a chef and more about him being a business owner. So it was all him imparting his like business knowledge.
Yeah.
And he's an incredible businessman. Like, he has like 80 businesses, like all
Mm.
ones you wouldn't know. He's like 10
Amazing.
wines, all these cutlery businesses, obviously all the restaurants. There's so many things. So no, I really respected him actually. And he's incredibly confident in front of the camera. He never had to do any retakes. Everything he nailed on the first go. So yeah, incredibly media trained. But no, I really, really like him.
Oh, cool. And of course, you were on Janine Allis's team. Janine is the founder of Boost Juice, and she's no stranger to reality TV either. She's been on Survivor, Celebrity Apprentice, Shark Tank. You, of course, won the show, and as part of the prize, she's been mentoring you. What is she like as a mentor?
She's great. So I was going to her house when I was in Sydney once a month. And we would literally just kind of work through some of my major business problems. And I think I always tell people this, that what is the best about someone like Janine, who's seen so much and has been through so much as a female founder, is that any problem that I came to her with was just not a big problem in her eyes. So she would mitigate everything that I was feeling. And actually, in that moment, that was really helpful because it made me feel like no issue that I'm dealing with is original and no issue that I'm dealing with can't be solved. And it just, I don't know, it made me not build up things in my head. And it made us very solutions focused. And for that, she's very, very, very pragmatic and solutions focused.
Yeah. Are you still in touch with her? Is the mentorship part of the prize over now?
Yeah, no, I am still in touch with her. It's just that I can't physically do the mentorship now that I'm in New York. But like I have my own podcast and she came onto that. So I podcasted her and we've done some PR stuff together. And I have a like personal number so I can text if there's any issues, like I can text her. But she's actually about to go onto Survivor again.
Oh, I didn't. Wow, she's she's out there. She's
Yeah.
hardcore,
Yeah.
Janine. She's so
Yeah.
competitive,
She's
isn't
about to
she?
do Survivor again.
I'd want
Yeah.
her on my team if I was on Survivor.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So the four finalists, you were one of the four finalists. They were all beverage products. Why do you think you won?
They were all beverages, and that was quite funny because because it was called Food Stars, everyone was joking it should have been called Beverage Stars.
Just shows
But
how hot the category is, I suppose.
it does, and I think the show in large was actually less around your business. It was actually more around you as a person because after the first episode, you never really spoke about your business again. It was all entrepreneurial challenges in a
Yeah.
team-based dynamic. So I don't think that the four finalists were because of the beverage category. I think it was more because of the people.
Yeah.
Why I won was the final challenge was a TED Talk in Fed Square Theatre. And I think that I did a good job at really not only taking people on a journey and having a really strong story, but really understanding the category and having a commercial proposition and actually just speaking well. And I think speaking with confidence and knowing your shit goes a long way. But at the end of the day, it was Janine and Gordon who chose. I just think I had a compelling enough story for it to go the final way. But I didn't know we filmed two endings, an ending where I won, and an ending where I came second. So I had no idea that I won until a year later when the show actually aired.
Oh, really? So you're in real time when you're watching it on TV?
Yeah.
That's when you
Well,
found out.
sorry, an hour before they called me.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. That's wow. That's a long time to wait, isn't it?
A year.
Like a
Crazy.
whole year thinking, have I won? Have I not? What does it mean if
Yeah.
I win? What do I do with this business if it does win? I get the money. Wow. I
Totally.
had no idea. I mean, so you won $250,000 as one of the winners because there was another guy, right, who also won 250.
Yes, Troy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's been a lot of talk about this. So can I ask you, when do you actually receive the money? How long after
I
it?
received the money around 6 weeks later.
Okay. Okay.
One day it just came into my personal bank account and it was a direct transfer. It was
The whole lot?
very weird. The
Yahoo!
whole lot.
Yahoo!
I
So
know.
amazing. So what did you put the winnings towards specifically?
So it was paying off debt in business, actually. And then it was actually being able to quit my full-time job and live on it so that I don't pay a salary and I can just survive. And that's pretty much it. Like $250,000 doesn't go that far when you're spending it on a business and you're living.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, I heard that TikTok has been huge for you in terms of getting the word out about your product. You're often on Reels. I see you on there all the time. I also saw a post on your page, which you've pinned to the top because it's gotten over 1 million views, where you're on a beach in Italy with your boyfriend. I assume it's your boyfriend, right? Having a lovely time, and you've captioned it, "This and selling my company for 200 million." And at first I thought, oh my God, have you? Oh my God, you got me. But that's actually what you were manifesting, right?
Yeah. So that went so viral. And so many people thought, like, even I think it even hit my mum at some point. Like, someone messaged her being like, oh my God, like, Soph sold her business.
Yeah.
I wish that after this short period of time, I could sell business for 200 million, I would do that. But no, there was actually a TikTok trend going around, and it was like you say this and something, like you say something. And a lot of people were saying like it was them, in Italy saying like this and no job, like, manifesting not having a job. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to manifest selling my business. So, and that resonated with a lot of people. People liked that, and it was funny. It's like the TikToks that take you 2 minutes to put together go the most viral. It took me 30 seconds to do that TikTok. I did it on a whim, thought it would get no views. And then suddenly it's like, it's going all around the world. I've got people in America reaching out to me saying that they saw my TikTok. I had so many orders coming from the US. I had people buying, because we've been ranged in beauty stores in the US for over a year. And I had people buying heaps of it from the beauty stores, being like, oh my God, like I live in New York and I saw that TikTok, and then I saw your product in the beauty store in Williamsburg and blah, blah. I'm like, this is great. Like, the power of TikTok is wild. And that cost me nothing. It was an organic video, and, it would have cost an agency to, tens of thousands of dollars to get that kind of reach. So I think TikTok's been a very important channel for me to get my journey out there, but also the business journey out there.
Yeah. So if that actually did happen and you did sell your business for $200 million, when people sell their business like that, are they still involved in it?
It depends who you sell it to and what the terms of the sale are. So say like Asahi or something, a big beverage giant bought Soul Tonic. There could be a clause where they want me to stay on for a year as CEO. There could be a clause where they don't. Every sale kind of has different terms, but it's hard when you build something that's your baby just to let it go completely, because you've built such a loyal customer base. You don't want them to feel like you've ditched them and you're just selling out to the corporates. It's a bit of a tricky one, but on the other side, it's like I'm slaving away, and to have an opportunity to sell at that level would also be, incredible.
Yeah, because you'd probably know of Bethany Frankel, right, from The Real Housewives of New York. She
Yes.
had Skinny Girl. She sold it to, was it Jim Beam or something, for like something like hundreds of millions of dollars. And then I think she wasn't involved in it from that point onwards. I'm not sure if she was. I don't think she talks about it anymore. Does she talk about it? And I was always like, that's great that you sold it, but does that mean you're not working in it anymore? I thought that was part of why she was doing it.
There's a strong chance that she's completely not involved anymore, and she just handed it over. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which would be kind of sad, because like you've built this baby and now you're saying, I mean, it's kind of like you're sending the baby off to college. Maybe it's not so sad, especially if you're going to get $200 million. I'll see when I sell my company for 200 million.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So what is your advice for someone contemplating going on a competition reality TV show, specifically where they're going for a prize?
My advice would be to have thick skin, and would be to try and not give in to like the pressures that you're inevitably going to have. I think only a certain kind of person really thrives in that environment, and I think you have to have a pretty good level of self-confidence. And if you don't, I would really reconsider. Like, if you're anxiety prone, I don't think you should go on. And I think
it's definitely not relaxing.
Is really, no, I just think like my advice would be, think about if you're the kind of person that is meant to be on a show like this and what the repercussions would be. For me, it was amazing. I'm a confident person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And finally, what's your advice for anyone with a great business idea, maybe particularly one in the competitive food and beverage space as well?
My advice is to just like, if it's hard, but a lot of people I talk to or I mentor, they're really stuck in everything having to be perfect. And my advice is that get your product out there and iterate from customer feedback. And that's the best way of improving your product. And everything comes down to perfecting your product. So it doesn't matter if your branding is amazing or this is amazing. If your product sucks, people are not going to continually buy it. But you need to get it into market to know what's working and what isn't. So my advice is, don't be your own worst enemy. Get something in market, and then day one begins, essentially, then iterate.
Mm. And one more thing. So you're in New York at the moment. Are you enjoying New York? And do you see yourself living there for the long haul?
I love New York. It's a very challenging city with Trump and the tariffs,
Mhm.
particularly where I manufacture everything in South Korea. But New York is like its own country. It's like it's not part of the States. It's like its own planet almost. And I just love the energy. I love the collaboration. The people I've been able to meet have been like second to none. I'm so inspired there. I'm also launching the business in London and the UK at the same time. And the proximity between New York and London, it's a 6 hour flight, and the time difference isn't that bad. So I'm really enjoying just being close to things and being able to whip over to Europe and come back. And
Mm.
I'm calling it my business gap year, even though I'm working more than I've ever worked because I'm working
Right.
all night Australian hours. But I'm actually documenting everything on a new Substack I started, and I think I'm I'm not having a lot of personal development, but I'm being really introspective around what I'm learning. But I'm
Mm.
really enjoying this chapter of my life.
And so if people want to follow more of your personal journey, they can look you up on TikTok and soon Substack. Anything else?
TikTok, TikTok, Sophie Hood, and Substack is called Expanding by
Mm-hmm.
Sophie Hood. And it's all about me expanding my business, mind,
And all
self,
that great
etc.
stuff. Oh, so
Um,
wonderful. I mean, it has been such a pleasure talking to you about your incredible success and your time on Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great to talk to you too.
And you can order Soul Tonic online or find your nearest stockist by visiting www.soultonic.com.